Rama Sri Rama കൂടെ വരുന്നു ഞാൻ നീ പോവും വഴിയെല്ലാം ഈ സീത വരും കൂടെ രാമ ശ്രീരാമ കൂടെ വരുന്നു ഞാൻ നീ പോ.
Hello guys, welcome to today's episode of Freebeat Friday. So as you can see, today is not a beat release video, and I'm actually taking this day to explain one of my previous beats that I released, and I would like to explain the second beat that I released in Freebeat Friday. As at the beginning of the video, as evident that it is, I went with a little bit of the spiritual side for the music, and I just wanted to use that as my hip-hop inspiration for beat creation. I'm gonna play a little bit of the track right now. And again, also, if you haven't listened to the track, please listen to the track. I am giving a link to that track in the description itself, and also, like I did in the previous video, a playlist to the track and the beats are available in my website. So go check it out. Make sure to go check it out and leave a comment below if you have downloaded the track, and if you are actually using the track, just let me know wherever you're using it. Maybe video editing, maybe your rap productions, rapping, music production. So as you have listened to the track, I went a lot of old school here, a lot of old school styles here, like boom bap styles, and I'll get into that in a bit. The inspiration that I took are from two songs, and the first one is going to be Shook One's Part 2 by Mobb Deep, and the second one I took from is 93 Till Infinity by Souls of Mischief. So if you listen to the track, you will kind of feel the vibe of those tracks. I listen to those tracks every day when I go to work. I work as a video editor in my daytime, and I do this music production in my evening times when I come back from work. And also, I have been producing music for the last maybe like 10 years. The thing that I did here is, again, vocal sampling. I am a huge fan of vocal sampling. I like vocal sampling a lot, as you can see. So I'm a break down the track one by one, and you will understand what I went with here. So let me set the light here so we can see the face a better. Yeah. Okay. Here, as you can see, the track that I'm working here is this vocal track. You can see. So this audio track, this vocal sample, I took from a very Hindu religious song that I'm going to mention in the screen right here, and you can check that the original music of this vocal sample in the description. I have given the link to the description. It's a very peaceful sound, and I really kept that same vibe. I didn't go too much on the processing, but I'm gonna explain the vocal sample, the processing that I've done for the whole sample here. I'm gonna play the vocal sample dry at first so you can understand what I did. The first one is lux verb or maybe loose verb, I don't know. So this is a very very interesting plugin, a very interesting effects that I found in FL Studio stock plugins. This is actually is doing the most creative things for me, like changing the vibe, changing the tonality, change the texture, giving a reverb, and lots of magical thing. And I simply don't know what is this doing, but I just used one preset here, and I'm gonna play the effects that is working on. So it is giving a little bit of like that atmospheric feeling, like that euphoric feeling that you get. And I'm gonna play the next effects, that is it's a vocodex, and again a very good plugin. You need to study this. Vocodex can actually do a lot of things for you. It is very good plugin. So this is actually doing a little bit more of the adding to the texture, as you see. Next is a fruity reverb that I always do. I always use it. So I added more of the atmospheric feeling there. I added more that stereo feel, the wide feel, the maximized feel, and then I used gross beat. So gross beat is actually giving me the pattern here. So this is the pattern I'm using here. It's a I went complete with the complex thing, and that is what giving me the complete creativity, the new style for the groove that I needed for the track. See, that is actually giving the actual the underlying groove for the vocal sample. And then again I went with the parametric EQ here, and I actually kept it really low. So I actually cut a lot of frequencies here. I dipped a lot of frequencies here. Put in a nutshell, I cut the low frequency, I cut the highest of the highest frequencies, and I just kept it in the middle all the way. So that's what actually the FX chain for the vocal sample I'm using here. Then again, I just kept the track very simple. And when you go down, you will be seeing more of the like some vocal packs that I've used here, drum samples used here. I actually went with a very simple bass here. It's a very simple bass. There's nothing more to it, and there's not much of effects I used here. So it's just effector and parametric EQ to keep it in the low, so that it actually gives a punch to the bass, so it doesn't feel too empty in the track. And the drum kit, it's just simple drum kit I've used here. Nothing but of pattern I've used here. It's just simple drum beat that like most of the hip hop tracks use. And then I have a layer here. It's just simple FX layer that I used here. So like adding more to the texture, adding more to the track, give it a little bit of movement, just adding a layer, just padding out, that's all. And then I added a string to it. So for the string, actually I gave some automation in the gross beat, just to give a little bit of variation for the whole track. So that's the first part of the track. And for the second part, I actually gave it a little bit of a really different automation for it. I chopped some parts of the pattern that I use for the string. For the second part of the track, I actually gave a little bit, a very little, like a boom sound, like a boom drop here. So if you have headphones, you will actually able to hear it. So, I gave a little bit of a break here and I just used the strings and the boom drop here. See? That's the thing here. Yeah, so the track is actually done in 96 BPM. I just wanted to keep it slow and, the old school boom bap style. I wanted to keep it that way. And I didn't want to add too much layers for too much elements for the track. And I just went with it. And I actually wanted to talk about the master channel for the track. And I actually do all the mixing, all the mastering for my own tracks. I don't give out to anyone. I like to do mixing and mastering myself. I like to learn in the process. Everything I have done in FL Studio and the music production is that I have done all self-learned. I didn't go to anyone to learn. I just used some YouTube videos um, and some free courses maybe online available. And I just did stuff my own and I tried many things and it just worked out. If you want to learn, actually, just comment down below in the video, maybe, like the video, share the video, and actually, yeah, comment down below if you actually want to learn any of the tricks that I do here, any of the production, any production, mixing, mastering, anything you want to know from myself and you want to see in future videos. Just let me know if you want to. You want me to make videos about them also. And also, I want to talk about this is that please like the video, share the video, and comment down also. And also, follow me on every social media that I have. Maybe, I only have YouTube and Instagram. And also, I have a blog and I'm writing about every track that I release. I'm writing all the processes that I've used there. I am writing every single blogs there. And if you want to read them, please go check them out and help me share the blog, bro. It just takes some simple clicks, man. That's it. Yeah. Moving on. So as I was saying, I'm going to talk about the master channel for the track and how I did all the mixing, not all the mixing. I'm actually going to talk about what I did for the mastering process. Mixing is a little bit, like a intuitive process for me. I have no process for it. And also at the same time, I don't have too much process for it, but I'm gonna talk about it. In the master channel, I have a lot of effects here. It's always EQ, compressor, Maximus, soundgradizer, transient processor. I'm gonna talk about each of them one by one. So first I'm gonna play the unmastered track. You won't feel that much of a difference, but trust me, you're going to feel it if you have headphones. So make sure to have headphones. So I'm going to play each FX rack that I've used here. So the first one is EQ. So in the EQ, as always, I cut the lows, but not too much. I cut it below 40 hertz because that's a sweet spot for every track that I've done. And sure, maybe every producer will be saying the same thing. And also I cut all the highs, but for cutting the low frequencies, what you need to do is make it a high pass. If you make it a high pass, you can cut the low frequencies as much as you want. So I kept it in the 45 hertz. So 40 to 45 hertz is, a good frequency to cut the lows. So in that way, you can keep the bass punching, and at the same time, the track will not sound as muddy. And I also cut it in the high end, and in the high end, I actually cut it at 1 kilohertz, 1119 hertz, and I kept it in the low pass. Yeah. So if you put the low pass, you can cut the high frequencies. It's a little bit of intuitive process, but I kept it in that. So, if you cut it, it's more like for cutting the low frequency, you can cut like 40 to 45 hertz for the low frequencies. But for the high frequency, it's up to your track. It's up to your creativity, because if you want too much highs, if you want too much sound effects, too much, the whoosh wash and all the things in your tracks, you can cut it wherever you want in the high frequency. So it always depends on your project. But for this project, I cut it at 1019 hertz. The most important thing that you need to understand is the low cut and the high cut. All the thing happening in the middle, it's all intuitive process. It's all by ear. If you use headphones, if you use any sort of speakers, studio monitors, you can understand where you want to cut any frequency that you would like to cut. Then the next FX I use here is a compressor. Again, compressor is also a little bit of intuitive process, but not as intuitive as you think. What actually compressor does is, in the name itself, it just compresses the frequencies so that it doesn't jump out, it doesn't clip out any speakers. So, you listen to the track as clean as possible, and all the sounds as clean as possible, as audible as possible. That is what the compressor does in a nutshell. I actually use the ratio of 2.5:1, and I use the threshold of negative 15.5 dB. The rest of the attack, the release, the type, and the gain, it's all intuitive. Those things are actually intuitive. The ratio and the threshold is what you need to look out for. The third FX that I have used here is in my FX rack is Maximus. Maximus, you could go intuitive there, but I will say it's not intuitive at all. But it is the simplest thing, the most easiest thing you can ever use in the history of your music production thing that you ever want to do. Maximus is what actually does is it gives your track a lot of texture, a lot of frequency pumping, a lot of frequency lifting, and also a lot of frequency dipping also. You can think of it as the same as parametric EQ, but I use Maximus for not maximizing the track, but for what frequency I want to collectively lift and collectively dip and collectively keeping it at the same at the same volume. And then the next FX that I've used here is Soundgoodizer. Again, Soundgoodizer is what I used here for actually maximizing and widening the track. This actually gives the track a lot of atmospherics here, a lot of widening, that old school vibe here. At the last, I have used transient processor. It's a counterintuitive of compressor. It works the same as compressor, but it also at the same time restrict the frequency to jumping out, peaking out and all kind of stuff. So that's what I wanted to talk about in today's video here. I hope you like the video, and if you like the video, please like the video, comment down below what else you would like to see in my YouTube channel. And as I said, if you want any production tips, mixing tips, mastering tips, and any sort of arrangements, composing, sound designing, vocal sampling, any type of videos you want me to record, you want me to make them and upload them so that you can get any sort of knowledge for free of cost. Follow me on Instagram, subscribe me on YouTube, and visit my blog post, visit my website, and I'll be seeing you next time.